News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
A coroner's inquest will be requested into the homicide in the Fox Club parking lot. Good morning, everyone. This is Montana Morning. It's Tuesday, October the 7th, 2014. Right now we have a partly cloudy sky. It is mild out there. It's 50 degrees. Wow, 50 degrees in Missoula right this very minute. All right, at 6 o'clock in the morning. Our newscast this morning sponsored by Kootenai Creek Village, the maintenance-free active adult community located in Stevensville. Call 546-6930. There will be a coroner's inquest into the homicide that occurred in the parking lot of the Fox Club Lounge early in the morning on Labor Day. Here's Deputy Missoula County Attorney Jason Marks.
We've reviewed the case here, and I can tell you today that we are going to be requesting that Sheriff Carl Ibsen, who's also the county coroner, conduct a coroner's inquest into the death of Christopher Heimel.
Marks explains the purpose of a coroner's inquest.
A coroner's inquest entails the public presentation of the facts of the case, witness testimony, evidence such as surveillance video, etc., to a coroner's jury, which then renders an opinion as to whether or not the conduct in question constitutes a crime, or in this case, whether or not the use of force was justified.
Heimel was shot to death in the parking lot of the Fox Club Lounge early Monday, September 1st, after an altercation with an unidentified individual. Witnesses say Heimel was attempting to pull the man out of his vehicle through the driver's side window. During the ensuing struggle, the fatal shot was fired. Heimel was treated at the scene and was pronounced dead at Missoula Community Medical Center. Absentee voting is underway in Montana for the election on November 4th. Secretary of State Linda McCullough's office says counties mailed more than 213,000 ballots to voters yesterday. That's nearly a third of the state's registered voters. Voters are being asked to decide seats in the Senate, the House, state legislature, Supreme Court, and Public Service Commission. Montana Congressman Steve Daines was in Missoula yesterday in the Florence Hotel Governor's Room to confer long overdue Purple Heart Medals of Valor to 3 veterans, one posthumously, during a decoration ceremony.
On behalf of a grateful nation, I want to thank you for your sacrifice while serving in the defense of this great nation. It will never be forgotten. You will never be forgotten.
Corporal Don Rakow of Missoula received his Purple Heart over 40 years after being wounded while serving with the Marines in Vietnam.
We set up a perimeter around a bridge to safeguard the trucks that passed over. Unbeknownst to us, the North Vietnamese had mine in the bushes that he touched off, and there was 2 fatalities, and myself, I was injured, went in the hospital for 3 weeks.
Others honored were Private Fernando Terrones for his service with the U.S. Army in Afghanistan, and awarded posthumously Private Jack Nesbitt, who was killed in France while serving with the U.S. Army in World War II. Congressman Daines' campaign says the Bozeman Republican raised $1.8 million between July and September for his Senate run. Campaign officials said in a statement yesterday that Daines had $1.6 million on hand for the final month before the November 4th election. Daines' opponent, Amanda Curtis of Butte, has raised nearly $554,000 since she became the Democratic nominee in August. Missoula County Detention Center opened almost 15 years ago with broad community support. However, in recent months, the jail has reached its maximum capacity and more space is needed. County Commissioner Gene Curtis says county officials have been meeting over the last several weeks, examining different options to either increase the space needed for new inmates or reduce the number of inmates in the jail. As it stands today, the total capacity of the jail is about 400 men, women, and juveniles.
We used to keep people about 10 days, and now the average stay seems to be 14. So we need to again revisit. We, in 2009, did a big study of this to look at who's putting them there, why are they there too long, is there something we can do to speed up the process.
Curtis says there are many variables that have to be evaluated before placing anyone in the jail.
Because you have to evaluate, too. Where do people need to be? Are they going to hurt themselves or are they going to hurt others? Are they coming off of drugs? Are they coming off of alcohol? All those, there's just a lot to it.
Talks will continue with county officials in the coming weeks as they attempt to balance the safety of the inmates, the safety of the staff, with the county budget. Curtis said, quote, hotels are a lot cheaper to run than jails, end quote. Coming up tomorrow, the county commissioners will meet to help hammer out a growth plan for the county. Assistant Director for Community Planning, Karen Hughes, describes the topics expected to come up at that meeting.
Growth policy is traditionally a comprehensive land use plan, but that can cover a wide variety of issues, public health and safety issues, economic security and vitality of a community. It can be focused on both urban area issues, but also rural. And our goal is really to hear what the communities think and what residents think are important for us to be tackling.
It's been nearly a decade since commissioners have looked at drafting a growth plan for the county.
The most recent full update to the growth policy was in 2005. And so we're operating under that growth policy. A link to that is on our website so people can see what the current growth policy says. But this will be the first time we've taken a fresh look countywide in a number of years.
The first of a series of public meetings will be tomorrow at 1:30. Those who can't make it to the meetings can contribute online by going to mcgrowthpolicy.us. The assault case against State Senator Jason Priest appears to be headed to trial after prosecutors and the Red Lodge Republican failed to resolve the matter out of court. The Billings Gazette reported Monday that the two sides held discussions but were unable to reach agreement. Priest's trial is scheduled for January 12th. Priest is not running for re-election. A 31-year-old man who recently moved to Montana from Virginia died when the pickup truck he was driving collided with a semi in southwestern Montana. Gallatin County Coroner's Office says 31-year-old Kevin Bailey of Belgrade was northbound on U.S. Highway 191 west of Bozeman when his pickup truck crossed into the southbound lane into the path of a semi about 2:30 Sunday morning. The Highway Patrol said the driver of the semi, a 45-year-old man from Idaho, was unable to avoid the collision. He was not injured. That crash still under investigation. And a Wolf Point woman has claimed the $297,000 wild card jackpot from the September 24th drawing. Montana lottery officials say Willow Grandchamp bought her winning ticket at a Conoco in Billings. She claimed her winnings on Monday. Our news talk time now is 6:10.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Sunshine and warm temperatures today with our highs climbing into the mid to upper 70s. Winds will be out of the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight, lows in the upper 40s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for KECI 13, your first alerts.